We are here today to talk about Spider-Man Brand New Day, but this being a 90s podcast doing what we do growing up in the 90s, we gotta relate it back to my favorite, the 90s animated series of Spider-Man. It's a brand new day, yes it is, and welcome back everyone to 90s Kids Are Us. My name is Eddie.
And I'm Jess.
And today we are talking about none other than Spider-Man, the newest Spider-Man, Brand New Day. And we went to watch the premiere.
Yes, we
right?
did.
Okay, we saw it night of, and I gotta start off this podcast by saying this is probably the most packed that I've seen a theater. I want to say post-COVID. Now, I could be wrong because maybe No Way Home was after COVID. But nonetheless, we have gone to see multiple premieres as of late, right, Jess?
Yeah.
And never once has the theater been that packed. So talk a little bit about that. What do you think about that?
Yeah, so I really felt, quite honestly, that Spider-Man was everywhere. And now you have like the social media thing where if you look something up, then all of a sudden you see it everywhere. So you never quite know if it's like an algorithm thing or if it's like legit.
They listening everywhere.
But I'm telling you, it was everywhere, like way hype. And so I think that was just part of it. Like it just, you couldn't get rid of seeing the Spider-Man logo, the Spider-Man hype. I saw something with like New York specifically, like putting up these things, statues or whatever.
Oh,
for
that's cool.
Spider-Man.
I did not see that.
And it was just, so I don't know, AI, maybe, who knows?
So their
But
marketing,
it was everywhere.
their marketing, their promotions, their merch.
Oh, the merch was crazy.
It's everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So also to hit on merch. So
I want to hit on merch.
you being the biggest, like, probably not the biggest Marvel fan I know, because I would probably say my brother and my buddy Josh are probably like really big Marvel fans.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, you're probably the third biggest, like, new age Marvel, like Disney Marvel fan that I know. And you didn't have a single piece of Marvel or Spider-Man merch in general. That's crazy.
It was crazy, because the amount of Disney stuff that I have is outrageous. So you would think that I would have, and like even Star Wars, like I got a bunch of Star Wars stuff. And when I've gone to the park, I go to the Marvel like section of Disneyland when we do go, and I love it over
Probably
there.
The worst section, but
and it's the best section. I don't know what you're talking about. And I've always been like, oh, I want to get something Marvel, but I couldn't ever find something that I was like just in love with.
I feel the same. We've gone in there multiple times.
Yeah.
We try to find stuff. There's a bunch of cool stuff, but I always look for something Spider-Man, right? And because Spider-Man is probably my favorite next to the X-Men of Marvel characters. I grew up watching Spider-Man, and we're going to talk a little bit about that today, but I always look for a piece of Spider-Man merch because I'm like, I just got to have something. Now, all that to say, you being a really big Marvel fan, didn't have a single piece of Spider-Man or Marvel merch.
No.
I had a Spider-Man t-shirt before I went and bought these two new ones, right?
He did.
So I went to Box Lunch. Shout out to Box Lunch. They have really amazing merch in general. Disney, I got a really cool Star Wars hat that I found there that I had to just get.
It's now my hat, by the way.
It's really cool.
Hat.
It's very like retro, got some corduroy on it. But besides that, anyways, I got this Spider-Man hat, which I thought was freaking epic. And this kind of new comic booky t-shirt, which I bought for her, but she didn't like it. So she stole my shirt.
That I didn't like it, for the record. It's just I have preferences. And in this case, do you see the shirt that I am rocking? Like, it was so cool.
It's a big ass Spider-Man.
The back.
Head.
I don't know if you can see the back, but the back. If you can,
really
this camera can see the back maybe. I don't know. But it's great. And I thought the colors with the contrast of the black was too cool for me to pass on. I'm sorry.
It was the shirt I bought for me, and I haven't even worn it yet. But best believe I will wear it to the gym, and I'll probably end up cutting it up t-shirt. Who knows? We don't know. Anyways, we are here today to talk about Spider-Man Brand New Day. But this being a 90s podcast, doing what we do growing up in the 90s, we gotta relate it back to my favorite 90s cartoon, I guess Marvel cartoon, and that's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I think it's called, is it The Amazing Spider-Man? I don't know what the cartoon's called. It's on Disney Plus. You can watch it on there. But we did go back and watch maybe like 4, 5,
Definitely
6,
a couple episodes.
7 episodes.
Yeah.
But we started off with the beginning, right?
Yeah, I wanted to start with the beginning because, again, I haven't seen this one.
Much like X-Men 97.
I'm sorry. I just had a different kind of childhood, I guess.
Or X-Men in general. We went back, we watched the 90s animated series of Spider-Man. One of my favorite theme songs, right? They didn't have to go as hard as they did in the paint with those theme songs, but X-Men and Spider-Man both were like just epic theme songs, which is probably the reason why I never skip the intro, because you always got to watch the intro, right? But talk a little bit about what you thought about the animated series of Spider-Man.
Out the gate, very cheesy. So cheesy. I wasn't ready for the amount of cheese that was on this.
Of dad jokes.
But it was great. I mean, I already really like Spider-Man. Now, he's not my favorite Marvel character.
My
I'm
favorite,
sorry.
by far.
I know he's your favorite.
Yeah,
I think you're only, to be honest.
No, I like the X-Men too. I like Wolverine. I like Gambit. I like Rogue.
Sure.
I'm more of like I guess, well, much of Marvel is all mutants, right?
Yeah.
More or less. Right. They're all mutants. Because even Captain America mutates, right? They inject the stuff into him and he becomes super. The Hulk, he's a mutation, radiation, right? So pretty much all of Marvel is mutants, but the X-Men in general are some of my favorite mutants, and then Spider-Man. So the Spider-Man animated cartoons, one of my favorites growing up. I loved it. It was really cool to go back and watch it again. And the reason we did that is because I really thought that this new movie was going to be heavily influenced by the cartoon.
Yeah, you said that. And I don't know if it was as much as you thought that it was going to be. Because I don't feel like it really...
It definitely was, but it wasn't at the same time. Like, there was a mixture of a lot of Spider-Man in this one new movie.
Well, the beginning, I know we were talking about, like, this guy that he was, like, fighting or putting away or whatever was, like... a flashback. And that's the thing about watching the shows. This is why I like watching the shows, actually. Is it all these new, like, villains? They're new to me that I don't know about, you know? Like, I know the classics, and I know this, and I know that.
Yeah.
So, Marvel fan, but got into Marvel way late in the game, okay? Got into Marvel with, I think, my first Marvel movie was Iron Man or Captain America.
Much like all the new generation of people.
But I fell in love. I was like hook, line, and sinker. I went back to the Disney Plus app and I started watching everything. The What Ifs, the other series. Like, I'm like all in on this multi-universe ride we're going on.
I was with Marvel before Iron Man, right? I'm talking about the X-Men movies and the
I
first
watched the X-Men
Spider-Man
movies.
movie and
Okay, so I guess that's my intro
Daredevil,
to.
right, with Ben
I
Affleck.
watched
And
that too.
so
Okay, so much
that
sooner
is
than that,
all
I
older
guess.
Marvel
I guess
movies
I just don't
before Iron Man.
think of it as like a
Well,
Marvel because it's like them. It's the Daredevil movie. Like I feel like when you get into Iron Man and stuff like that, you're going into the Avengers, which has
Correct.
a different vibe to it. Maybe.
Because that's beginning of the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe,
Okay, that
right?
makes sense.
That movie was the very beginning, in which is this long line of multiple movies all together that all connect. Now, what that is really cool, and they're still doing it to this point, is now they're going back and including Daredevil,
Yeah.
Elektra,
Yeah.
Deadpool,
Right.
Spider-Man, not only Amazing Spider-Man, but Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, and with this upcoming Doomsday movie, the X-Men, right? You're
Right.
going to have Magneto and Professor X from the original live-action movies.
So good.
Now with Captain America and Tom Holland Spider-Man. And so it's just going to be this big cluster fuck of Marvel, Disney craziness.
I think it's great.
But this movie is sort of the precursor to that.
No, yeah.
Right?
Sure.
So this is going to be, and you can technically say Fantastic Four and all the movies are sort of leading up to it, right? Thunderbolts.
So, wait, on this train of thought, do you think that's why it was as big as it was? Like, to circle back to the hype, do you think that was part of it? 'Cause
100%.
It was the intro to, like,
it's going to be the
Doomsday?
next phase into Doomsday and ultimately what I believe the Secret Wars. And so that's another reason we went back and watched the 90s cartoon. At least a couple episodes would I have loved to watch. I think it's all 4 seasons, 100%. But we ain't got no time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that
right now because we're like, Spider-Man's coming out. And so you mentioned the dad jokes, the cheesiness. What else did you take away from the 90s cartoon?
I think the biggest thing, like I said, that stands out is definitely the cheesiness. But I already kind of know a little bit about Spider-Man.
Sure.
So it didn't, I guess, like, I was happy to see that, you know, he's always this nerd. He's always this, like, science guy.
100%.
He's always, like, I don't think people, like, really realize that when they think of Spider-Man. They just think of him, his suit, his icon, like, him saving people.
Mm-hmm.
But the guy's a genius. Like, and I think people forget about that. And so it was cool to see that he's always been that way. You know how there's different Spider-Mans in different universes, and I just feel like across the board it's always this smart kid.
And so in the cartoon in which we saw, right, you see him go to not only Dr. Octavius but Dr. Connors, right? Yeah. And so in the cartoon he goes to Dr. Connors, but in the movie Dr. Connors is nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
Neither is Doc Octavius, right? That was the previous movie.
Right.
But in this one, the doctor he goes to for help is the Hulk.
Yeah.
Dr. Bruce Banner.
Dr. Banner, I need your help.
What did you say your name was? Right? Yeah. Who's teaching, I guess, college in New York.
Physics or something?
Yeah, he said he was teaching physics. He was like, come on, guys, I got to stop talking about, you know,
the Hulk.
I gotta teach you something.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool to see Peter having issues. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if we want to spoil anything. The movie is currently out now. It's in theaters. We saw the premiere, but there's a lot that actually happened in this movie.
I feel like I have to see it again.
Correct.
To be honest.
100%.
Like I think that there's just, to your point, a lot going on.
We gotta go back and rewatch. I gotta pay for it again. But no, it would be really cool. I feel like there's a lot maybe that I missed, and we'll get into it. But later on in the movie, I actually ended up falling asleep. So I don't know what.
I was genuinely upset that he fell asleep, by the way.
I don't know if maybe I was just tired. Maybe it was later in the day.
It was all the above.
Or the fact that something or someone just didn't capture me the way I thought it would.
Yeah. I can't disagree with that.
And so we'll talk about that. But let's go back to the beginning of the film. Spider-Man Brand New Day starts off the intro itself, which I caught not while watching it, but later I saw something. And you know how they gave Tom Holland his own sort of intro Spider-Man? Like it was all the features of him, right?
Yeah.
Something interesting that someone pointed out was as those sort of like flashes are going through and you see him with his friends and on his adventures, if you look closely, he's actually fading away from those instances in time. And so those memories that he had with Ned and Zendaya, MJ, right? If you look very closely, it's him talking with MJ, him talking with Ned, and then for a split second, he just fades out of the picture. So they're literally removing him, or like those memories are being forgotten because Ned and MJ don't know who he is. The movie starts off right where it left off from No Way Home.
Yeah.
Spider-Man it's a brand new day, and Spider-Man is dealing with the fact that nobody knows who he is anymore. And then most importantly, the people closest to him do not know who he is.
Right.
His Aunt May is gone.
Yeah.
Iron Man is gone.
Yeah.
Happy doesn't know who he is. The Hulk doesn't know who he is. None of the Avengers know who he is. And his two closest best friends are going on and living life without him.
Yeah, he's a sad, lonely Spider-Man in this movie. And
he really is a simple spider.
Like, it was, I don't know, it was definitely interesting to see. And you made a comment about this going in, like, that this should be a good Spider-Man movie because he's going to be facing like this obstacle. He's going to be like a different kind of Spider-Man because of the hurdles he's going through. And I feel like that definitely came across. Like, I feel like watching him, especially when he sees MJ and her new boyfriend, like kiss her, whatever. In the that scene.
Shout out Ezra Bridger.
I know. I didn't realize it was Ezra until I heard him talk. I was like, oh my god, it is Ezra. But anyway, I thought seeing him freak out and panic.
Oh,
and
he
leave,
dipped. He dipped from that party so quick.
Like things changed for him too. It was like a traumatic event. So it was good acting, I feel like, on his part. I thought he had some really great
This movie does have some of the best acting that I've seen from Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Even Zendaya, I think in this movie was I've always thought her acting as MJ was a little weird to me anyways, but her acting as MJ in this one was actually really good, and I found myself like actually laughing, which I do eventually want to get to. Probably the best character in this whole movie besides Tom Holland's Spider-Man is Frank, Punisher. And I don't know if maybe I just like Shane from The Walking Dead.
So man, let me ask you something.
Or whatever, but him as Punisher is just really good. Wait. He's actually really good, especially in this movie. You see it a lot of sides of the Punisher. But for Tom Holland's Spider-Man, being removed from meeting Peter, well, he's Peter 1, but Peter 2 and Peter 3 from No Way Home, now he's back on his own again, and removing what you might say is some of the obstacles from his life allowed him to actually go full like Spider-Man, stopping bad guys and fighting crime. And he's become sort of like this, not vigilante, because he's actually working with the cops. He's working with that one detective, right? And so he's sort of like, and the detective even says, she's like, oh, you trying to take my job, Spider-Man?
Yeah, making jokes with him and stuff.
And so it was really cool actually to see them working hand in hand.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh no, you guys are the professionals. Like, I'm just here to help. And I thought that those like small things were really cool because it reminded me a lot of like The Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield, how he was kind of like trying to work with the cops.
Right.
But Gwen Stacy's dad was like after him the whole time. I know, R.I.P. Gwen Stacy. But it was really cool, at least for me, to see him becoming more of the Spider-Man that you see in Tobey Maguire's universe.
Sure.
Where he's kind of growing up, he's living on his own, he has his own apartment. Something that was really cool that I thought maybe they were going to go a little bit further in depth was him mutating.
If DNA is mutating,
See,
it could be enormously dangerous.
I don't know. I think we differ
I just thought there was going to be more.
I feel like it was a bigger reveal than you felt like it was, I think. Because to me, I felt like, a spoiler, I guess, like as soon as he hit that trauma with MJ, he came home and he like, his eyes went black and he lost himself. Like he could not control himself anymore. And he had already like,
I gotta fix whatever this is.
you see him looking at his arms and stuff like that in pain, not knowing what's going on with him.
He thinks it's just like carpal tunnel at first because I think he's typing so much. He's like, ow, my wrist.
In random spots through the movie. But if you really pay attention, like it's after he watches his friends who don't remember him anymore.
I guess so. I didn't catch that.
He gets this like pain. So I feel like they're directly connected. And then all of a sudden he woke up in a web cocoon thing.
It was big. It was cool to see him like furthering through his mutation.
Yeah.
Now shooting actual webs. His eyes going black was actually really cool to me because it definitely reminded me of like the cartoon where he starts to change. Now in the cartoon though, he actually ends up becoming a full on like spider with like mutated arms.
I don't know if it'll get to that in
I don't
the
know.
Disney universe of things, but it did hint in the movie that this is not his first mutation.
Yeah.
Because it showed like the spiders and stuff like that, and it had mentioned that there are multiple throughout its lifetime.
Well, yeah, just becoming stronger and being able to stick to walls is sort of already a mutation, right?
Right, but I'm saying you could go any direction with that in any future film or with Doomsday or with whatever they decide to do.
And so I thought it was really interesting that he was trying to stop himself from mutating even further. Like, yeah, it was like a problem, but he was like, I want to shut it off. And I thought that was kind of interesting.
I understand why he did it, though, because he doesn't know how to control it, and he was in the midst of trying to figure out this really important thing that was happening with individuals who were jumping in and out
the
of
body
bodies
jumper
and stuff like that. I feel like he was just like, I don't have time for this right now.
Sure. It was like an inconvenience.
Correct. I know what I'm doing with the tools that I have. How dare you stop me in this point where I'm trying to figure this out?
Well, what was interesting is that he couldn't like, he went like full on spider and you can see like the testosterone spiking, right? Or like I think it's
whatever.
Arachnid. They said like the arachnid hormone is just like spiking and it's taking over. Correct. And I was like, that's really cool. But for him to want to stop it, he goes and like meets with Bruce Banner's the Hulk. And the Hulk is sort of playing devil's advocate. He's like, oh, well, how would you choose, like which gene to stop? What's good, what's bad, And it's sort of like the pot calling the kettle black because Bruce Banner himself is stopping himself from becoming the big green guy, right?
Sure.
So he already shuts it off to be normal.
Right.
So it's kind of like hypocritical that he's telling Spider-Man like, oh, well, how would you choose to? And I think he's just getting him to think, right? He's getting him to think outside of the box. But he does mention, he was like, whoa, like, you're talking about like shutting it off completely, almost like taking away your mutation, your powers. And he's like, that's like a line in which, is pretty bad, but he at the same time doesn't know that he's Spider-Man.
Correct. I was going to say.
So he just thinks he's talking to this random kid from his class.
You're not one of my students, are you?
He's like, why would you want to be doing this knowing that he's an Avenger and there's other Avengers and there's other people who have powers? And he's like, wait a minute, why are you trying to take away people's powers, bro?
Right.
And so it was kind of cool. That part was dope. And it actually, that conversation itself literally mirrors a conversation in which Spider-Man has with the X-Men's Professor X in the cartoon, where he goes to Professor X and he asks him like, hey, Professor, I need you to fix me.
So that's it. I'm mutating. Into what? I don't know. Can you cure me?
I'm sorry, Spider-Man. My work is not to cure mutants.
Because this mutation is happening to me and I can't control it. And he's like, I'm sorry, Spider-Man. Like, I don't deal with stuff like
Did I
that. Like,
see this episode?
no,
I feel
it's
like I
further
missed
on
this.
in the show. It's when the X-Men, I want to say season 2,
Okay.
the X-Men actually, like, there's a full crossover
Yeah,
and the
because we
X-Men
haven't
are in
gotten
it.
to that yet.
No, we watched maybe like 4 or 5 of the first season.
Right, right.
The first season is sort of like all the great villains of Spider-Man.
Sure.
And then in season 2, it actually delves deeper into like the story. You meet the symbiote and all the X-Men. And speaking of the symbiote suit and the symbiote powers, apparently, now he's not in the movie, but apparently maybe there was scenes shot, or maybe there was the idea that the symbiote suit, black suit Spider-Man was going to be in this movie. However, they did screen tests and it was too scary for children and they took it out.
Oof.
Or they decided not to include it in this movie. And so I don't know if that's a misstep. I feel like maybe it is, because it would have been really cool, but it would have also been like Spider-Man 3, where they tried to throw in too much all at once.
I agree with that.
think.
I think it would have been too much, and I also think this is more of like a Spider-Man movie where he's already dealing with a lot of other challenges, and now we're gonna throw this in the mix. Like, I don't know. I'm going with you. It would have been too much.
The black suit Spider-Man in Tom Holland's universe, the symbiote suit, Venom, basically,
Venom,
right?
yeah.
Hasn't been featured in his Spider-Man universe yet.
Right.
So that's like the one suit that he has not really worn yet. Tom Holland's suit, he wears a bunch of like the Iron Spider suit.
Yep.
A one from the first Avengers movie, Civil War, he was in, all the way till now this suit, where it's a lot like the 90s cartoon, which I love.
Mhm.
It looks classic, blue and red. Like, look at the cup, dude. That is like Spider-Man animated series right there.
Yeah.
The popcorn tin, a lot of elements from, I would just say, across all 3 live action films. Amazing Spider-Man, Tobey, and Tom Holland. It's like they took the best from all 3 and kind of hodgepodged them together to create this new suit, which is just
Chef's kiss.
chef's kiss. It's a really great suit. But all in all, I would say there was a lot of great in this movie, and then maybe there was stuff that wasn't so great. What are some things that maybe you didn't like about the movie? Because I know there's some things for me. What about you?
So I think there's nothing that I quote unquote didn't like.
Okay.
I would say there are things that I'm just not sure how I feel about at this moment in time.
Certain body jumper.
Yes, a certain body jumper. I'm just gonna say it. Jean Grey.
Spoiler warning. Jean Grey. We all know now.
Grey, we all know now. So anyway, I love her as a character.
Yeah.
She's cool.
Well,
She's a
as
great
an
actress.
Yeah.
She's a great actress, but I don't know how I feel about Jean Grey version of her yet.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, for me, the inclusion of Jean Grey is maybe something that I didn't really need in this movie. Like, I'm not mad about it. I don't dislike her character. I do, however, I'm not like super psyched about like how they utilized her character.
They just didn't introduce her well.
Yeah,
And I
she
think that's what
sort
it
of
is.
came out of nowhere. Now she's here in this universe. She already knows about Spider-Man somehow, some way. Now, yes, Jean Grey can read minds. She can control people, but the way she kind of does it in this movie is something that I've never really seen.
Yeah.
She's more like just like jumping body to body and taking control of people and like full on controlling them and running around with them. But she can only jump from one person to the next within 33 feet.
Right.
I don't know if 33 was like a specific number that they chose for some reason, but they made a point to be like, oh, well, it has to be within 33 feet of another person for her to body jump.
Right.
And I was just like, maybe it was overdone. I think maybe if they would have just like body jumped a little here and there during the movie, or shown maybe a lot of like her other powers, which they do later in the film.
I'm saying, like, so we gotta remember, for context, Jean Grey, this is
she's just a baby
X-Men.
in this one.
This
Correct.
is pre-X-Men. As in, doesn't know how to use her abilities.
Yeah.
Doesn't know what she has, really.
And so she's sort of going off of what her sister taught her.
Correct.
Right? Yeah.
And so I think there's that, like, key context, right? But still, like, I'm with you. The mind jumping, I feel like you could have just taken over one person,
Sure, 2
people, maybe 3 people.
It was just a lot.
Like,
the
right?
one time I was actually like, oh, that was pretty cool, where she took over MJ, and we didn't know that she took over MJ.
No, I knew.
Oh, well, so yeah,
100%
but it's
knew.
not known, like it's not showed to the audience that like, hey, this is, she's in MJ.
Sure.
Because he goes and he's like, hey, we got to get out of here. MJ goes with her. And then they kiss and she kisses Spider-Man, and it's like, oh, maybe she remembers him. And then she stops and says, enjoy that.
Like, yeah, or like, hug her. Yeah,
enjoy that kiss.
Something like that.
And then it's like, oh my God. Jean Grey was taking over MJ and making her kiss Spider-Man.
And
like,
what another traumaful thing for Spider-Man to go through.
But he does get his best friend sort of back at the end via handshake, which just goes to show you that something as simple as a handshake will always mean that you're boys. Even if your homie forgot you from another universe, all you got to do is remember that handshake, big dog, you good to go. But MJ, she don't love him no more.
Oh, that's
but
so
yeah,
funny.
so just a lot in this movie, a lot of really cool things. Probably the best thing for me was the relationship between Frank and Peter.
Definitely.
Their back and forth, their sort of duo.
So good.
It's up there with like Wolverine and Deadpool, where like you didn't know you needed it, but seeing them on screen together is actually really dope. They have sort of like this one-upmanship kind of like camaraderie, but like, screw you, I'm gonna do it my way. Like, and it's really good. I really like them together, and honestly, if that was the only help that he had throughout the whole movie, I would have been here for it. Which sort of it was.
It was.
Besides the little bit that the Hulk gave him or whatever. But like to see just a movie with him and Spider-Man would have been like.
I have to go back and I have to watch Punisher. I've only seen a couple of episodes. I haven't seen the whole thing. I need to watch it. And now that I've seen this dynamic.
Yeah, because he is in Daredevil. We saw him in there. He's really like intense, really badass. But I haven't seen the Punisher show with him. And so maybe it's really good.
I feel like it's probably pretty good.
Yeah. So another thing, there's multiple people in this freaking movie. Yelena, new Black Widow, right? Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
Big potato stuff.
So that is more your area. Like small potato stuff. Whereas the new Avengers are focusing on big potato stuff.
You know, I don't know what the hell that was about.
Potatoes. This is big potatoes.
She's Russian. Okay, yeah.
You
she's
didn't
Russian.
watch the Thunderbolt movie?
No. Whack ass Thunderbolts.
It was great.
No.
I liked it. It was good.
New Avengers, really my ass. If that's not America's ass, then it ain't Avengers. You know what I'm saying?
I think you look great, Cap. As far as I'm concerned, that's America's ass.
That's so funny. That's hilarious.
But Yelena, Black Widow, wants Spider-Man to come on in and jump in the pool, which is her office, and talk big potato and small potato stuff.
Well, she don't want to talk about.
That's
small
all.
potatoes,
That's
though.
all you
She
gotta
said that's
know
for
from
you
that.
to figure out because they're small potatoes.
Bring
She's
me
the
big
new
potato
Avengers,
stuff.
and she wants
I'm
big
Avenger.
potatoes.
Big potatoes.
She's great. I love her. She's a great character.
I don't know what that was. She is actually a really good actress. She was kind of funny. So you have her,
Mhm.
you have Hulk,
Mhm.
you have Punisher,
Mhm.
and you
Jean
have
Grey.
Jean Grey. All
Yep.
4 expanded universe, all in Spider-Man, along with Ned and MJ. And also Aunt May is in it, but sort of in Peter's
but not
memories.
really. Like,
Yeah.
I don't consider that.
I don't remember seeing that scene in any of the other movies.
I think
So I don't know if it was a completely new scene.
I don't know.
Maybe it is. It's been
I
so
honestly can't
long. There's
remember.
so many movies, hard to keep track of.
Because she does talk to him. May does talk to him about being Spider-Man. That
Sure.
definitely does happen. I just
Yeah.
don't know if it happens exactly like how the memory is.
Yeah. But they do, Marissa Tomei is in the credits as like being in the movie. And I don't know if maybe it's because they used that scene, but I feel like they filmed something brand new and that's what that scene was. I could be wrong. I don't know. But it was cool to see Aunt May again, right? Back from the dead. By the time this comes out, it's not really going to be a spoiler, but I did want to talk about it. And we did go back and watch the 90s cartoon, which I feel like maybe it wasn't as much as I expected for it to be kind of like hand in hand, but it was really cool, like you said, to see all of those villains, which
in the intro.
they definitely mentioned the freaking Shocker. And I don't know, maybe I'm tripping, maybe I haven't seen it, but when are they just going to give me the Shocker? We have Electro, we have Mysterio, we have Scorpion, we have the Lizard. Where's the Shocker? You include the Shocker material, like his weapons and stuff, and even Spider-Man uses it in the movie, but no Shocker. That's
your gripe.
And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Somebody let me know in the comments. Let me know if the Shocker is actually featured in the Tom Holland Spider-Man universe, because I don't remember seeing him.
Yeah.
But it was cool to see Scorpion again.
That can be anyone.
You sure you want to do this, Scorpion?
You think I'm Scorpion?
They did include, I forget his name, but it's the blonde dude with the short hair, which they featured him in Spider Noir.
Yeah.
Which, there's a lost episode out there about Spider Noir, but he is in there. I think it's Tombstone. I think his name is Tombstone, if I remember right from the cartoon. His blonde hair, really pale dude. I want to say it was Tombstone, but he's there. So they do that whole collage of him stopping the Hand, right? He's stopping all these like villains. And then that leads me straight to, what is the people's name? Damage Control. I don't know who this dude is. He's like in control of. They're doing some shady stuff.
Yes.
Killing mutants and trying to harness their power.
Experimenting on them and trying to
man.
replicate their mutations. I got a big fucking problem with that. But
All that.
It's crazy because
Somebody call X-Men.
that's why Jean Grey showed up, I guess.
Da-na-na-na.
In our time, we're called the X-Men.
So they took her sister, which this whole thing kind of happens in a flashback. It was just crazy, kind of out of nowhere. And I was just like, okay, they're just abducting little kids in the park.
I'm just not surprised.
All right. So they take her. The only way that Max, Jean Grey, gets away, which, by the way, she was running up that hill. I was like, okay, Stranger Things.
Yep.
I was like, it's the same thing. She's running in slow-mo to go save her sister, and her sister body jumps into Max.
Yeah.
Jean Grey, and stops her. And that's the only way she's able to get away, because they take the sister away. She stops her from chasing after them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so they took the sister, but they didn't take Jean Grey?
I think at this point they opt out of taking Jean Grey because she doesn't know what she's doing, and they can actively see Sarah using the power. Is why they grab her. Should they have taken both? Yes, I'm with you on that one, but I'm just gonna justify it, I guess. My
Sure.
bad.
We'll make excuses for plot holes. That's fine. It's fine. So
I got you, Marvel.
they put her in a room. They experiment on her and try to amplify her powers until they kill her. And
Yeah,
the one
so
thing that
fucked.
she like manages to get out to her sister is V Max,
Mm-hmm.
which apparently is the label on the air conditioning unit
yeah,
system. And I
yep.
was just like, what is the point of that? Like, why even include that bullshit to have her
Yeah.
come there and be like, oh, VMAX is the air conditioning? Like, I would
It's
have.
the last thing she saw before she died.
I
get
got
it.
a
It
real
could've
problem with
been
this. I got a real.
quite literally anything, and they chose that. Why? I don't know. And like I said, I didn't know how I felt about anything with Jean Grey until basically she broke loose.
You could have really just had VMAX be like something actually of substance.
Right. I thought that's for sure what it was. I thought it was a weapon or something.
It could have been
that Jean Grey was going
It
to
could
try
have
to
been
stop.
a fucking thumb drive that they had all the info
Like,
on.
I'm with you on that. I feel like that.
It's an air conditioning system that the sister was getting tortured and saw and was like, hey, come save me, VMAX. Like, what? Bro, come on. Anywho. Certain things I got gripes about.
Yeah,
I told you there was things I did not like, and then there was things that I did.
Okay.
Some things that I really did like. I did like how MJ was very like witty, kind of like a smartass when she was talking to Punisher.
The hell is that?
Who the hell are you?
Frank, please. I don't have anywhere else to go.
And she was like, "You're really gonna let him go out there and like after he saved you?"
Just gonna let him go by himself?
In Staten Island, like you're just gonna leave him by himself.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was cool. She kind of like, she very much owned the scenes that she was in.
Yeah.
And then I really liked how Ned was like super nerdy. I liked
He's
how
always been super nerdy.
Sure, yes, but so for me, before these movies, I never really liked the fact that MJ, Ned, and Tom Holland Spider-Man were all kind of like this little friend group.
Yeah, you mentioned
I didn't really like it, just didn't feel like it fit, and it felt sort of ingenuine at certain times. And like, I get it, they're 4 movies in, like they've been friends for this whole time. They have built up the friendship. But for the first time ever in this movie, when they're all sitting together and he has the Spider-Man mask on and she's sketching him and they're kind of sitting there playing like, I think Legos or some shit. Like they're playing.
Yeah, they were building Legos and they were making funny references and voices.
And it was like they were friends again for the
Right.
first time. Yeah, they total Lord of the Rings reference. Yeah, it's so good. So he was like, well, then keep your secrets then.
All right, then keep your secrets.
If you're referring to the incident with the dragon, I was barely involved.
All I did was simply give your uncle a little nudge out the door.
So good. And I stopped for a moment and I was just like, that's great. That's
No, that was great. That whole scene was great.
And I mean, there's other things I saw that were references to other things. Star Wars is definitely in there. In the background, Ned is watching Empire Strikes Back. And there's even Star Wars toys, I think, that Ned is playing with, which they like before. Ned is a big Star Wars nerd. He has the Death Star that falls and breaks, right? But seeing him, what I mentioned was him being really nerdy, is his love for Spider-Man or finding out who Spider-Man is. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Seeing his tracker, seeing him be sort of like obsessed and have like that Like he's putting all the clues together
Right,
and trying to
find him.
figure out who Spider-Man is. So it actually, them not knowing who Spider-Man is, sort of for me as like a viewer, made it better to see them end up being friends again. I was like, okay, it made it all worthwhile, sort of. Like, even though they're not friends, they still, like, something is drawing them to Spider-Man and Peter.
Sure.
So that was probably one of my favorite things.
Yeah, I mean, because they remember Spider-Man. They just don't remember
who Peter Parker is. And someone finds a certain note that is left over that he probably should have gave
And
to a
maybe
certain
that's my
someone a long
responsibility,
time ago.
to live along with the truth.
And that was rough.
That was rough.
It's basically where she tells him that she doesn't love him anymore.
Poor Spider-Man, bro.
yeah,
Poor Spider-Man.
he kind of gets kicked in the nuts again and again and again.
Poor guy.
But some of the really cool highlights, him swinging through the city, that shit was dope. Some of the freeze frames that are like directly from comic book covers.
Sure.
Like just painted the part with him and Frank in the beginning where they're fighting, which I saw a lot of people say that one of their gripes with the movie was most of the really cool things about the movie were all in the trailer. I don't know if...
I never saw the trailer.
Oh, really? Okay. I definitely saw the trailer.
I never saw the trailer.
A lot of it was, but at the same time, I feel like a lot of it wasn't.
I mean, I feel like that's kind of the case nowadays, is the trailer gives too much away.
Sure.
I feel like that's been happening
100%.
for a lot of movies for a long time.
Yeah. And a lot of people have gripes with that because it's sort of like the highlight reel of the movie, and then you go and see the movie and you're like, oh, like if you saw the trailer, you know the whole movie.
Right.
And so that was something that I did see someone say online that they kind of were like, eh. But the end credit scene, which it does have only one, so if you stick around, it's at the very, very, very end. There's no mid-credit scene. But at the very end, they do show Ned's tracker.
Yeah.
And Ned's tracker is like, Spider-Man, not found. Spider-Man, not found. It kind of reminded me of, I don't know if you ever seen Richie Rich, another 90s reference, but Macaulay Culkin, Richie Rich, they literally have a dad tracker. And it's like,
yeah.
Dad, not found.
Yeah, I know.
So it's like that. It's that, and it's like Spider-Man, not found. And then it zooms out, because, you know, we're on a rock, like zoom out. And it shows the Earth, and it's like Spider-Man, not found. And then it shows Spider-Man, found.
Yeah, and he's
in the middle of space.
In the middle of space, yep.
And what'd you think about that?
So I think I sent you a clip on this. Actually, I sent you a clip on
yes.
this. And there was a guy talking about how, you know, this isn't just about him being in the middle of nowhere out in the universe.
Wars.
This is about how Doomsday basically wins. Like, this is a reference to, you know, shit's about to get real.
Yes.
Right? For
Spider-Man. Doomsday is going to come in and kick everybody's ass.
Correct. Yeah.
100%.
So that's, I didn't think about it like that. I was really like, WTF as well when I watched it the first time. But then I saw that and I was like, oh.
Like, if you guys were sad that Iron Man died in Endgame, you're going to come back and probably see Iron Man kill some of your favorite Avengers or Marvel characters.
Yeah, but he's Doomsday now. It's different.
And that just is what it is. So be prepared. Maybe read a comic book or something. But that is for the future. But that's what I'm saying is this movie is directly setting up the next iterations for the continuation of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Mm-hmm. And so it's all just breadcrumbs. It's stepping stones to something bigger. The inclusion of Jean Grey in itself is literally a hint to there is probably going to be a whole new version of X-Men.
Correct. And she's going to get her own movie.
In that Tom Holland, like, Spider-Man universe, right? Because we already know Tobey Maguire, his own. Andrew Garfield, Amazing Spider-Man, his own. There are multiple Earths, right? If you watch anything with Loki and the freaking infinite timelines.
Yep.
There's bazillions and bajillions, and time is a clusterfuck. But in this universe, it's Jean Grey, and there's probably going to be a new X-Men, and this is sort of the beginning of that.
Yeah.
And so that kind of like, what did you think about the final end fight? The end, big, like, we're skipping straight to the end. It's Spider-Man after I guess he embraces the spider.
You weren't. Don't listen to him.
Fell asleep.
He was asleep,
I
so
fell
he didn't
asleep.
even get to
I was
see
in and out because
he didn't even get to understand this.
it was just getting really boring.
I thought
it was getting boring.
it was actually super intense and really cool the way that he did it, right?
Yeah, but you were tearing up over there, so
whatever. So he's fighting the Hand, or what used to be the Hand, or whoever.
The Hand, the Foot. What is this? Ninja Turtles?
Well, the ninjas. They are ninjas. So anyway, okay, all right. And even him as Spider-Man, he's like, dude, this is so cool. As he's like fighting them because he's in awe of what Jean Grey is doing, basically.
Okay.
And then he gets to the point where they're
cutting him a bunch.
Destroy his stuff. And he already has the chip programmed to minimize his DNA or whatever, his mutations that are happening to him. So now he has no other choice. He has to either die in that moment or embrace the spider. And so he takes it off and it's like black eyes and goes. And I thought it was really cool. I thought it was like super legit actually in that moment. Because she even calls him out. She's like, who are you? Peter Parker or Spider-Man?
Yeah, and then
he's like,
both.
I'm both. And it's great.
So cheesy.
It's so great. I loved it. I loved it so much.
And so that whole, I think they're kind of having, if I'm not mistaken, they're having sort of that like conversation in his mind.
Yeah, that was after.
And she like takes the place of Aunt May, but it's like Jean Grey and Spider-Man.
She takes the place of him.
Oh, okay.
Aunt May's talking to
and it's
her.
Aunt May talking to her. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, I probably have to watch it again, but the whole first half of the movie, really good. And then it's when it sort of gets to like the Jean Grey parts, it kind of slows down, and I'm like,
weird. It's a weird, like I said, it's a weird reveal for Jean Grey.
It kind of loses me on the second half.
Grey.
But then, right when I did kind of like wake up, is that part where she's like, oh, like choose both, and that whole thing happens. And I guess Frank is like in a building, like scoping her because he told Spider-Man, like, hey, I'm going to take her out. Like, I'm going to handle it my way. You already tried your way. I'm doing it. And Spider-Man's having like a heart-to-heart with Jean Grey, and she's like, well, you're all alone, like those people don't exist anymore, and I'm alone. And he's like, I'll be here for you. And I just look over and Jess is just crying, and I'm just like, what is happening?
Okay, it's super emotional. And so Spider-Man, being
He's
Spider-Man,
all alone as well.
He relates to Jean Grey in the sense that she has power she doesn't understand. She feels all alone in the world, and she's basically reacting based on the trauma that she's having in her life. And so he's like, okay, that's why he says to her, enter my mind. He lets her. He could push her out. He lets her into his mind.
See, I didn't see that part.
And then has the whole conversation, and she starts tearing up while Aunt May is talking to her, because it's like that's all she ever wanted was a motherly figure to love her for who she was and understand her for who she is. And he gave it to her on a silver platter. And so in that moment, it was like, oh, we're more alike than we are different. And now I understand who you are. And we
so now Peter Parker and Jean Grey gonna have a baby? No.
I wish. That would be great.
No.
That would be great.
No.
New universe timeline.
I'm waiting for Felicia Harding and Gwen Stacy. That part where he's like, well, I'll be here for you. And she finally gives in, and she's like, okay, great. You hear a gunshot.
Yes. was so wild.
Spider-Man chooses to basically risk his own life, turn his body to where the gunshot that Frank intended to kill Jean Grey and take her out, Spider-Man takes it, I think, in the chest area, right, left shoulder area.
Yeah.
Basically, he gets shot. Frank sees it. He's like, oh my God, what have I done?
Right.
I basically killed Spider-Man, because if you know Punisher, he's going to shoot to
he's gonna
kill.
kill you.
So Spider-Man takes it. And all of a sudden, they had this heart-to-heart, and that's kind of where I woke up. And Spider-Man's bleeding out. And he's like, no, I'm okay. I'm okay. And she's like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
And he drops to the floor. And I was like, oh, shit. Like, he might die. I was like, Spider-Man might die right here.
Jean Grey didn't save him.
And so Jean Grey body jumps into him and basically keeps him alive through breathing for him.
Correct.
Which was kind of wild. I was like, that's pretty insane. I was like, how did she keep him alive? But basically, she was breathing for him the whole time, since obviously he would have passed out or probably stopped breathing on his own. She took him over, kept breathing until he got to the hospital. They have that really cool, like straight out of the comic books, where Punisher is holding up Spider-Man and Spider-Man's all limp and dead. It's like shot for shot, which whoever really worked on this, I don't know exactly, but the fact that they decided to include shots from the comic books in these scenes is really, that's beautiful. That's how every comic book movie should be. Take from the source material, put it on screen. And it was just really cool because you get that part where they're in the hospital and you see pretty much everyone who loves Spider-Man is there to see that Spider-Man lives, you know, like that he makes it through okay. And so you have sort of like that candlelight vigil thing.
That was a cool moment in general because it was cool. Like, I know Spider-Man knows that he helps people and people like him and they root for Spider-Man, right? Like, people like Spider-Man. But I don't think he really realized how much they loved him until that moment when he walked out.
Yeah.
And no one knew he was Spider-Man because Frank puts on the mask and he pretends to be Spider-Man. So great. And he's looking around and he's like, oh my gosh, there's all these people who love me, who care about me, who understand what I'm doing for this city.
And so he lost everyone. And at the end of this film realized that even though he lost everyone, he really has the support and love of everyone.
Yeah.
Just not him as Peter Parker, but him as Spider-Man. So you see this kind of like growth from feeling like he's alone forever at the beginning of the movie to seeing that the whole city loves him. And his not so friends anymore friends are bringing him, like, you can see his table in his hospital. It has the sketch that MJ made him and cards. And so they have come to visit him while he's been there. We don't know how long he was there in the hospital for, but it makes it seem like it was a few days at least. So I want to go back to the part where like Frank kind of dresses as Spider-Man and lets him go out by himself so that nobody knows who it is.
So great.
And it's probably one of the most cringe parts, but also one of the funniest parts is you got Frank in just a regular t-shirt or whatever with the Spider-Man mask on. And he's like, there's a part where it's behind him and he's like, "Ah, ah." He is just in the hospital being a freaking goofball with a Spider-Man mask on and pretending to like take in all the love and pretend like he's Spider-Man and Spider-Man's okay. And I was just like, oh my God.
I thought it was so great.
Like,
I was so in love with that scene.
It was really cringe, but it was pretty funny. And Spider-Man gets to walk out and receive all that love. I feel like there's a lot that like I have to go back and reanalyze and maybe see again and take in. Another part that we didn't really talk about, but him utilizing Evie a lot, right? To kind of like build and make stuff and fine tune his web shooters and his suit and everything. So there is a lot that I really do enjoy about this movie. Few things that, like, sure, I could do without, but overall,
Great movie.
You would say it was a great movie?
I would say overall, great movie. Don't like how they introduced Jean Grey. That's my only thing.
But I'm excited to see what's next for Jean Grey. That's what I would say.
And I agree with that, because I think once she goes through this trauma and gets her like legit Jean Grey powers and she's on the bus to X-Men, I'm actually really excited for that version of Jean Grey.
And I would like to see, like, does she come back? Is she the one who's like, hey, I know a guy, and brings the X-Men to Spider-Man, right? Like,
probably.
In the cartoon, I think he's more closer with like Storm, but they definitely have like X-Men crossover where like all the X-Men, there's a scene with him and Wolverine. It's just really cool stuff.
Yeah.
So to see the X-Men in Spider-Man would be for me. So there is a lot that they are setting up for the future. And for the first time, me being a really big DC fan, I would actually say, I know DC is in a different state. How is she even allowed to be in here?
Superman's all right.
For the first time, I would say I'm actually genuinely excited for the future, I guess, of Marvel and the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and most importantly, Spider-Man and the X-Men. For more episodes just like this, check us out here on the YouTube channel. Now that was epic.
Yeah.
And until next time, friends, my name is Eddie.
I'm Jess.
And now that was epic.